Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with really a handy but imperfect release. It is the complete Donizetti string quartets on CPO, featuring two different groups, the Pleyel Quartet of Köln and the Revolutionary Drawing Room, both on period instruments. The Pleyel Quartet of Köln gets the first two discs, and the Revolutionary Drawing Room gets the last four. Now, Donizetti's string quartets are hidden gems. They really are. They are beautiful and important works in the history of the string quartet. He wrote 18 of them. And I know, there's a prejudice against Italian composers, particularly Italian composers of orchestral music or instrumental music. They're supposed to just do opera, and anything they do that's not opera is supposed to be like lousy because they're not German. But here's the thing. Donizetti had the provenance, the pedigree. He was born in 1797 in Bergamo to a very, very poor family that had no musical ability at all. But he did, and it was recognized early. And it was recognized by Johann Meyer, Giovanni Simone Meyer, as they went in the business, who lived in Bergamo and founded the conservatory there. Now, Meyer was a great admirer. He was German. First, let's start. He was German. He was German, and he idolized Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven. He wrote a cantata on the death of Haydn and a cantata on the death of Beethoven, which is on Naxos, and it's hilarious, and you really ought to hear it because it quotes all the bits of Beethoven. He stole liberally from all of them in his instrumental music because there's a big Meyer series on Naxos now. And so we know what was going on in Bergamo. And what was going on in Bergamo was that they were playing a lot of Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven. And Donizetti was Meyer's prize pupil. No matter how disgustingly he behaved, and he did, Meyer stood by him steadfastly and kept him under his wing and kept him learning and working and training since the age of 9. 9! You understand? So Donizetti was writing operas before he was writing string quartets. He only started writing string quartets when he was 20, under Meyer's supervision and watchful eye. And he played the violin. He played in quartets. He knew how to write string quartets. He really did. The style is obviously redolent of Haydn particularly, and then early Beethoven. The minuets, for example, are all quick scherzos. But, even though the derivation is obvious, the style is Donizetti's own. It really is. There's that wonderful alternation, as Schubert would do, between major and minor. There are wonderful little coloristic effects, pizzicati, and just that Italianate charm. And melodic abundance that you always wish for, because Donizetti was a very gifted melodist, and he is in his string quartets. And there are 18 of them. He wrote them between the years, 1817 and 1836. So he'd written a whole pile of his great operas, Lucia di Lammermoor and all that stuff. I think that was all around there by then. He was a mature composer, and he wrote string quartets and a lot of other things. He wrote 16 symphonies. He wrote other chamber works. He wrote sacred music. There's a lot of Donizetti we don't know, and our picture of him is skewed by the fact that he's only known as an opera composer, and a very great one. He wrote 75-ish operas, which is unbelievable, before dying relatively young of syphilis. So he got a lot of work done when he wasn't doing other things that were not so good for him. And these performances, let's just put it to you this way, they're okay. Both groups play on period instruments. They are not the best period instrument groups. It's really that simple. You've got particularly the Revolutionary Drawing Room. I think the Pleyel Quartet of Köln is a little bit better, but the Revolutionary Drawing Room has intonation issues. They have issues with rhythm and ensemble, not major epic, but the playing is crude. And this is music that deserves to be given a high polish. It is 1,000 pities that some of the great Italian quartets, like the Italiano, never did a complete Donizetti quartet series. It's really a shame because the prejudice against this music is just so ingrained. How is it that we've had to wait this long to get the complete quartets? There is another series, a better one in the offing, based on the single volume that's out now on Brilliant Classics. It started in 2023. God knows when it's going to be finished or if it will ever be finished. So until that happens, aside from singleton discs by various quartets, this is the only show in town for the complete quartets. And that's readily available anyway. And so we have to make do. It's worth it to make do. I really believe that. Some people will not mind the period instrument Mishigas as much as I do, or as much as Jed did in his review of the Brilliant Classics for Volume 1 on ClassicsToday.com. But you should hear the music. You really should, because it's something you're going to want to collect as it comes out. It's beautiful stuff. And to get to know these works is to really, first of all, fill in a very important element of the biography of one of the great opera composers of the first half of the 18th century, or 19th century, pardon me, and also in the history of the string quartet. I mean, this stuff is good, solid, wonderful music. And if it isn't the most far-reaching or original or sophisticated, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your models are, as long as you understand what you're doing and you do it well. And Donizetti understood what he was doing, and he did it well. And that's evident in these performances, for all their little defects here and there. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.